In the scam home warranty business, the people are represented by two separate but equally lazy groups: the authorization agents who deny claims and smoke like chimneys, and the technicians who lie through their teeth to snag a few extra bucks. These are their stories. Thank you for joining us today for the top 5 angriest Karen stories. Story number 5. What she said. My husband is a cop, so watch it, or things could go pretty badly for you. What she should have said? Nothing. Call came in. Customer told me her tech was outside. She gave me the claim number, but then she decided to keep talking. Karen. Okay, here he is. How long will this take? He's very busy, and he has been waiting for you guys for half an hour. I replied, need to get the diagnosis from the technician. Karen replied, my husband is a cop, so watch it, or things could go pretty badly for you. I replied, okay, go ahead with the badge number. She said, oh, wouldn't you like to know? All right, using your policy and address, it looks like he's Officer so and so with the local town police department then. Karen huffed, I don't know what you're talking about, honey. I replied, all calls are monitored and recorded. Making a threat on a recorded line is unfortunately against the policy per section F18. Any threats to scam home warranty or scam home warranty technicians or scam home warranty representatives will result in immediate cancellation of the policy with no refund due. Karen scoffed yet again. I don't remember making any threats, so drop it, buddy. I said, attempting to use one's official title to gain preferential treatment to oneself or their family is the textbook definition of police misconduct and abuse of power and conduct unbecoming of a. And then the technician jumped on the line. Jesus freaking Christ, I've never heard so much horse shit over a freaking capacitor. I asked quizzically, capacitor? Tech said, yeah, dual cap, $50 parts, $50 labor. I said, all right then. The customer jumps back on the line. Don't you try and screw me. I know my policy. You're going to try and give me the wrong price. With a smile on my face, I answered, correct. Since this is not a no tech in area claim, you are being reimbursed at scam home warranty rates. Karen roared, which are? I responded quickly, scam home warranties cost on a dual capacitor is $50, lesser service call fee of $45. You would be reimbursed $105 pending a paid invoice received by authorizations. Karen said, oh, dejectedly. I said, thank you for calling scam home warranty. Have a nice. Karen jumped back on. No, you don't. What's our authorization number? I said, I already emailed it to the email on file. And then the line was hung up. Epilogue was, in all of the 14 fields required on every diagnostic, I just typed pending customers paid invoice and threw in customer reimbursed at scam home warranty rates. Total $105 with the authorization number. Story number 4. Now you are going to do your job and cover this claim, or you are going to lose big. From Karen, who was today's biggest loser. Karen called in with a customer's own tech on the line. I was still pretty new in the office, and it was June, so call times were pretty high, and I wasn't very quick. Before I could say anything, Karen jumps on the line. He's going to tell you what's wrong with it, and you're going to give him an auth code or whatever so he can fix it. You understand? I said I need to speak to the technician. She said he's on speaker. So I went about getting the basic info, and Karen kept jumping in. Why do you need to know that? Interrupting the technician. Why do you care how old it is? Despite her interjections, I was able to get enough information on the form that I could continue with the rest of the diagnosis, but the tech was being very vague about what was wrong with the unit. The tech explained, it has a clog in the line. I said, okay, so you're going to blow out the drain line with nitrogen? He said, no, it's not that. And I said, that's not a condensate line? The line set with the freon is what's clogged? He said, well, it's like a condensate line, but it's just not pumping. I asked confusedly, what pump are you talking about? That's a drain line. Why would there be a pump in it? Is this a water source heat pump or a swamp cooler? I asked those questions because we don't cover either of those. Karen jumps back on the line. Listen, what you're doing right now, that's called badgering, and it's a crime. I asked conceitedly, a federal, state, or local crime? Karen said, you little shit, you're going to do your job and cover this claim, or you are going to lose big. I said, I need to talk to the technician about this pump. The tech said, oh, this is a recirculating pump. I have one on the truck. I just need the authorization to fix it today. The tech gave me a part number, waiver, service call fee, miscellaneous charges. Overall, it was a quote over $1,000 for just the pump. While he was doing this, I went and asked my boss, and he asked me one single question that brought a smile to my face instead. So I put the tech on the line and said, "Okay, is this a geothermal heat pump?" Karen jumped in. "Yes, it is, top of the line." I said, "Excellent. So let me finish up here and I'll get you over to somebody who can help you moving forward." Before Karen can get out a whoop, I already had transferred the call over to customer service to deliver the denial because Scam Home Warranty doesn't cover geothermal heat pumps in the first place. In fact, the customer had lied to customer service to get the claim opened in the first place, saying it was a normal heat pump, omitting the geothermal part. The epilogue of the claim is that the claim was denied and Karen canceled her policy because there was no auxiliary coverage available for geothermal heat pumps in the first place. And even if there was, this would have been a pre existing condition. Story number 3, the broken fridge and the entitled bill. I was enjoying my 20th spicy chicken nugget from Wendy's when a call came in from New England. I put somebody in my ear who I thought to be a tech, and it made me regret picking up the line. "Hello, Scam Home Warranty, the Mad King and Queen here. Do you have a..." Karen jumped. "About time. You have any idea how long I've been on hold?" "Oh," I replied, "it sounds like I got a customer. Unfortunately, authorizations does not speak to customers." Karen said, "Oh, I'm handing you off to my tech right now, but I have a lot to say to you." I said, "Please put the technician on. This department does not speak with customers." Karen said, "Did you not hear me? I just said..." And that's where I checked out mentally. I could hear indistinct threats and allegations through my earpiece, but I put myself on mute and opened my phone to browse Reddit while I had another nugget or two with some of the barbecue sauce. A few minutes later, I heard a different voice and immediately jumped to attention. Technician asked, "Did you get all that?" I cut to the chase. "Do you have a diagnosis for us?" Tech said, "Yes, but we don't do work with y'all, and the office isn't too happy with this arrangement. I've already spent over an hour here." I asked if he had the model and serial of the unit. Tech said, "Hey, I don't like your tone. Did you listen to a word I just said?" I replied quickly, "I already notated it on the claim, but we have to finish the diagnosis before I can do anything." Tech said, "All right, listen up. This is an 8-year-old top mount General Electric fridge and it's totaled." I said, "Do you have the model and serial?" And he said, "You're testing my patience, kid." I replied, "Yeah, every diagnosis must contain this information." Tech said, "This is why no techs want to work with your company. It's all bullshit. You just don't want to cover this lady's fridge." I said, "I can't cover anything without a full diagnosis. Please refrain from cursing on my line." Tech said, "I had enough. Get the information from her and go to hell." I replied, "Authorizations doesn't speak with customers. I only have 4 more questions and then we can make a determination on coverage." So the tech replied quickly, "The model is number, and the serial is number. You happy? What's the other 2 questions?" I said, "4 more questions. I already asked you those 2. My next 2 are the cause of failure and the recommended repair." Tech said, "The compressor's leaking Freon. I don't know why. Recommended repairs, buy this lady a new fridge. You guys have to repair or replace, and I'm saying it has to be replaced." I said, "Okay, last 2. What's the name of the company and the office phone number? I need those to finish up the claim." Tech said, "Uh-huh, changing your tune already? That's more like it. I'm with Angry Appliance Tech of New England, and our office number is 1-800-LIE to authorizations." I said, "Oh, okay, that's all I needed." Karen jumps back on the phone. "When are you sending me the check for all the ruined food, and when can I expect my new fridge delivered and installed?" I said, "Unfortunately, we do not speak to customers." Karen said, "What's your name? I'm going to make sure you're gone by the end of the day. This is unbelievable, treating a customer like this. I'll have you know." And then she was transferred to customer service. I tasked the following to customer service: call customer and inform, not a covered claim. Refrigerator has failed due to Freon leak. Per C4, leaks of any kind are excluded. Furthermore, customer is irate their food is ruined. Per F5, secondary damage, especially from a non-covered failure, is excluded. I put in an internal authorization note. Customer may lie about details of call to force coverage. Pull the call. Epilogue to the claim is that the claim stayed dead. Customer fought with customer service pretty badly, pulling every excuse they could imagine, and indeed lied, stating that off that exaggerated the failure, or misquoted the tech, or even at one point saying that our policy did cover spoiled food. I would like to note that no home warranty company covers expired food. Customer went to retention and they ended up canceling their policy, but it was a monthly policy, so we didn't really need to keep them around that badly. And she'd only bought it a few months earlier. So, since there was nothing worth covering on the claim itself, it wasn't worth keeping the customer. Story number two: The Call of the Karen and the Fat Sandwich. Now, here's some background. If you don't live in New Jersey, you might not know what a fat sandwich is. So, picture a foot long cheesesteak. Put some french fries, mozzarella sticks, chicken fingers, some eggs, extra cheese, some lettuce, marinara sauce, and some ground beef in there. All right. If you're feeling a tightness in your chest and you're reading up on the closest emergency room to wherever it is that you bought this, then you have a pretty good idea of what I'm describing. I've honestly never eaten more than 10 or 15 of these in my life. No, not in a row. My limit was 2 if you're curious. And each place that sells them does them a little differently. They all have silly names with the word fat in there somewhere. So now that you know what a fat sandwich is, let's continue with the story. I woke up one morning on the wrong side of the bed, scalding shower with a side of black coffee didn't knock the cobwebs out as much as I would have liked, so by the time I got to work, I was already reaching at my desk for a Pop Tart or two to keep me in the game. The mid fall weather outside meant we weren't getting hammered by calls, but HR also sent a few guys home by lunch, which I didn't notice since mine wasn't scheduled until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the unintended side effect of working a 12-hour shift, since my lunch can be anywhere between 10 and 2. So around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm starving. I've been in the office for over 5 hours. So I pick up my phone and I order something dangerously unhealthy and overpriced. I noticed a pizza shop that I hadn't seen before, and I realized that it was one of those off season places that only open during the school year for Rutgers. I also saw that on their most popular dish section was a fat sandwich, and I ordered it immediately since it was the first time in years I'd had one. A little while later, when the sandwich arrived, one of my coworkers stared at it in confusion. Hey, he said, what's wrong with your sub, man? It looks like it's falling apart. I grinned. I know, right? He said, What the hell did you order? I've never seen a sandwich that looked so wrong before. Are you going to get a refund? It looks like they messed it up. I said, No, man, it's a fat sandwich. Haven't you ever had one? He said, No, dude, I grew up in Georgia. We don't have pork rolls or whatever the hell that is down there. I said, Oh, it's like 4 different sandwiches put together. Do you want a bite? He was like, Sure. So I pulled out a fresh plate and using a new knife, sliced off a middle piece for him, which disappeared as fast as a customer's complaint in the vice president's office. His eyes were wide open when my phone began ringing, and I regretted serving him a cup before myself in the few seconds that remained of my lunch break. Scam home warranty, the Mad King and Queen here got a claim for me today. Karen said, Let's start with your name, please. I said, The Mad King and Queen of Scam Home Warranty. Do you have a claim? Karen said, I just want to know your name. The Mad King and Queen. I've said it 3 times now. Karen said, Don't get snippy with me. I asked, Do you have a claim for me? She said, Yes, it's claim number, but you refusing to give me your name is making me very uncomfortable. I said, I'm not repeating it a 4th time. All calls are recorded, and it would be trivial to replay this or any other call from today to demonstrate I've repeated it multiple times already. Karen said, I'm going to need you to cut the attitude and provide your full legal name and employee ID number immediately. I said, No, thank you. Karen said, are you kidding me? It's illegal for you not to provide your full legal name and employee ID number. I said, No, thank you. Karen roared, You will provide the information right now or I will get my lawyer involved. I said, It looks like the claim number you provided, this is a denied claim and authorization has already spoken with a technician twice regarding coverage. I'm thinking this is a customer on my line, not the tech. Is this correct? Karen said quickly, Yeah, that's right, buddy. I'm a customer, and you're in a world of click. And with that, I transferred her over to customer service. I notated the claim as following. Customer calls in, wants to argue coverage, transferred to customer service. Also put in an internal authorization note. Customer demanding employee information and or full name of auth rep. Advised not the case. Do not transfer back to auth. Half an hour later, I'm taking greedy bites of my fat sandwich while a tech fumbles around on my line, taking pictures of a leaky line set outside of a customer's house somewhere in Texas when my message dings. The customer service supervisor messaged me, "Can you open claim number?" I said, "Done." The supervisor continued, "Customer claimed you threatened her and called her a bitch." I said, "So?" Supervisor said, "Did you?" I said, "No." The soup continued, "She's claiming she has a recording of you saying as much, and she claims that when she was on your line, she had a lawyer on the three-way." I just laughed in the chat. Supervisor said, "I need you to take this seriously." And I said, "Pull the call." The supervisor said, "We're gonna pull it right now. Are you ready for that?" I said, "For what?" Supervisor says, "If we pulled it and you actually said as much, I'm going to involve your off supervisor and the VP of operations. This won't be your first write up. In fact, that's a fireable offense. Do you have anything to say for yourself?" I said, "Pull the call, please." 2 hours later, my messenger dings from my immediate supervisor. "Listen to Mad King and Queen. They pulled that call, and I'm formally giving you a slap on the wrist for being so snide with that customer." I said, "Great." My boss said they offered her a full refund because of you, and I said, "Okay." The boss says, "Next time you have a customer like that, can you pretend to be a professional for once?" I said, "Sure." My boss said, "I don't care, but this is coming from above me. Seriously, this is from the VP's office." I said, "So what should I have done then?" My boss said, "I'm going to let my supervisor handle this from here, and then transfer them to customer service like normal. Throwing her off your line mid-sentence was rude." I said, "Yeah, it was, sure." Epilogue to this is that the very next day I had 3 fat sandwiches delivered, one for me, one for my desk mate, and one for my boss. Even though the ingredients were identical, as these were the same sandwiches I'd ordered the day before, it had lost some of its luster and taste. Perhaps ordering it 2 days in a row like that diluted the flavor. To be perfectly honest, that was the last time I ever had a fat sandwich. Now, fat pizzas, on the other hand, that's a story for another day. Saving the best for last, story number 1. If you hang up this phone, I will get you fired and sue you for everything you're worth. Do you hear me? Click. Now, before I begin this story, I'd like to point out that this was one of the first stories I ever shared on Reddit. One evening at Scam Home Warranty, I'm finishing up my shift, but I am not allowed to leave until the queue is empty. I'll spare you the office politics, but it's not supposed to be able to receive incoming calls after 9 p.m. But in reality, it's about 9:30, and I'm on the very last call of the night when a customer zone tech in Texas calls in with Karen on the line. Because of the time difference, it's still late afternoon in Texas while we are closing up shop here in New Jersey. Karen starts the call. "Hurry up and give us the off number. This tech has been on hold for way too long and doesn't have time for questions." I said, "Okay, let's start with the make, model, and serial of the unit." Tech says, "No. It needs a condensing fan motor. Are you going to cover it or not?" I said, "Are you refusing to provide information on the unit?" Karen interjects, "I said he doesn't have time for this. Are you going to cover it or not?" Now, to be honest, I didn't have time for this either. I got in the office at 7 that morning. I had been sitting at that desk for almost 14 hours. But I had to continue with the call since it was still technically the last call of the day. I replied, "Unfortunately, we cannot make a determination of the claim without basic information on the unit as part of a diagnostic." The text said, "Well, it's a 10-year-old unit and it needs a condensing fan motor. Are you going to cover this or not?" I said, "Do you have a part number on the fan that you claim this unit requires to have replaced?" Text said, "No, I have it in my hand. Are you going to cover it or not?" I asked how many horsepower it was. He said it's a half horsepower model and he needs to put in a new capacitor. I said, "Okay, what's your price on the motor and the capacitor?" He said $650 for the motor, $200 worth of labor, and I need another $100 for the hour I was on hold. I answered, "I cannot authorize a repair without a part number or any details on the unit that it's needed for. Furthermore, this typical repair costs no more than $375 parts and labor, and we do not reimburse for time on hold. I will need to get all of the documentation on the unit before." And Karen screamed, "Get your boss on the line right now while you still have a job." So I put them on hold and I went over and I got my boss, who looked at the diagnosis, seeing that it was missing 99% of the needed information. But all I really had to work with was the price and the horsepower of the condensing fan motor. My boss gets on the line. "Hi, this is the authorizations manager, and I'm looking at the diagnosis, and I have a few questions about the unit." The tech says, "I ain't answering no more questions. You gonna cover this or not?" Customer said, "Yeah, we need to know if it's covered or not right now." My boss said, without the needed information on the claim, on foot, and Karen yelled, get your boss on the line while both of you still have a job. So me and him exchanged bewildered looks, and we went to go see if the vice president of operations was still here. He had, of course, left for the day, so we got the next best thing and brought in somebody who was technically my boss's boss, but he absolutely did not have time for this. So my boss's boss gets on the line. Hello, I am the head of operations. If you are unwilling to provide the needed information on the unit, we will instead require a picture of the failed component to move forward with the claim and determine coverage. Begrudgingly, the technician and the customer got together and got a picture of the unit and sent it over to the Google phone. Wouldn't you know it, it was kind of an old motor and dirty. Well, not that dirty, but certainly we weren't going to pay this technician close to $1,000 for so small a job, and we weren't interested in accommodating or rewarding the customer tech hybrid, which were clearly doing something shady. Yes, I understand the irony of that last part, working at Scam Home Warranty. So I wrote up the denial, flagged it for a L2 to deliver in the morning. My boss flagged the claim with his own task, explaining to anyone who looked at it what was really going on, and for any overnight call center reps to inform them to call back during normal business hours. But it was up to me to end the call. I was giddy, excited. I wanted to tell them that the gig was up, but my boss put his hand on my shoulder and said I had to play it by the book. I got back on the line. Hello, Scam Home Warranty has received the needed information, and we will be making a determination shortly. The claim is currently under review, and the office is now closed for the evening. Karen yelled, no, 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 that is not how this works. We got in before the office closed. This line will continue to remain active until we get the determination. I don't care how long that takes, but you will not leave this call. I said, unfortunately, the office is closed. The system is no longer allowing me to input new information. Scam Home Warranty is not an emergency service, and we are contractually obligated to render a decision within 24 to 48 hours after the diagnosis is received from the technician. Customer said slowly, if you hang up this phone, I will get you fired and sue you for everything you're worth. You hear me? Thank you for calling Scam Home Warranty. I advise you to have a good day. Click. As me and my boss walked into the parking lot, since the boss's boss had left the second the picture came in, I asked him if they could actually do that or if it was one of the many empty threats we got all day long. My boss laughed. What are they going to sue you for? Hanging up a phone? Let legal handle that. We did it by the book and we wrote it up the way we're supposed to. The next day, I pulled up the claim out of curiosity. The customer got the denial and accepted it. They didn't even fight it. The epilogue of the story, and many of the stories that you hear on this channel, is that Scam Home Warranty isn't in the business of covering expensive claims. If it's too expensive, we can and will find a way to deny the claim. There are almost always circumstances that will allow you to deny a claim if you look close. And thank you for joining us here once again for another Scam Home Warranty Top 5 video. All of these stories appeared on Reddit originally, and then were brought here with the help of our patron D_B. Thank you so much. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, subscribe to the video, hit the little bell so you don't miss any of our uploads. There should be a playlist somewhere here on the screen for other stories like this. If you'd like to interact more with Scam Home Warranty on other social media, you can follow our Twitter, our Instagram. You can subscribe to our Reddit if you haven't done so already. We also have a Twitch and a Discord that you can join if you'd like to. And that about does it for today. So have a fantastic day, and thank you once again for joining us.